All right, so I did play the Snorlax stall for the tournament, and this is the list that we ended up going with. I don't know. I guess I'll like talk about the standout cards. 2 Rotom, because you just want to be consistent. And sometimes like gust your Rotom early, you need your second Rotom, so you gotta play 2 Rotom. Not playing 2 Rotom is still like a joke. Not playing 2 Rotom is cringe. 2 Ogerpon, because you just want to beat Charizard. You don't want to lose to Charizard, so you just beat him with the double Ogerpon. Also, like double Ogerpon, you utilize double Ogerpon against what's it called in the late game as well? Regidrago. Like you'll just sit there with 2 Ogerpons, and then you'll just loop them with a handheld fan. You sit there with double Ogerpon, handheld fan loop with pennies. So double Ogerpon for that. Double Mimikyu. Why do we play double Mimikyu? There's a matchup we played double Mimikyu for, but I can't remember it off the top of my head now. Yeah, there's a matchup we wanted double Mimikyu for. I don't remember what it was though. It was for something. It's actually double Mimikyu is actually really good. Double Mimikyu Thorns. Oh yeah, Thorns. It was for Thorns and also really good against Bolt, because against Bolt you don't really need to, against Raging Bolt, you don't actually have to like trap something with Snorlax. You can just put a Mimikyu in the active against a Raging Bolt. And if they retreat the Raging Bolt, you can just bring it back up. It has 3 retreat costs, so they don't really want to, they can't hard retreat it that many times. So your game plan against Raging Bolt is just 2 Mimikyus with 2 Bravery Charms. And then you just sit there, and then you just kind of win. Does this not just auto win Thorns? They can't retreat? No, because you can't draw with Rotom, so you, like, they beat you eventually. Thorns will beat you eventually. Cologne? Well, the Cologne... Thorns needs to save the Cologne for the Mimikyu. They have to Cologne your Mimikyus. We played 2 Mimikyu, mostly just because we're like, all right, we're going to hope the Thorns players only play 1 Cologne. Because most stalls up to that point had only been playing 1 Mimikyu, so we're like, all right, maybe they'll only play 1 Cologne, and then we'll just beat the Thorns players because they can't get through 2 Mimikyu. Was kind of our hope, but that was our hope. So, and the Mimikyu was actually really good against Bolts. So that's why I didn't play against a single Thorns the whole tournament, but I played against 3 Raging Bolts, so the Mimikyus are good against that. Just get down 2 Mimikyus, put some charms on them. And then Pidgeot V we play in here so you don't deck out, and then obviously it combos with 4 Sealstone, yada yada. 4 Penny, of course, 4 Arven, 3 Sisters. 3 Sisters is really, really important for the Drago matchup specifically, because you just want to find their cards. You need to find their prime. You want to find their prime, their Cologne. Yuri, obviously, for the same reason, you still play 2 of those. We played 2 Boss. Honestly, Boss just got, it feels like you gust way more. Like, things don't die. You just need to gust way more. So we played 2 Boss's orders. That was fine. Yelchier, of course. You still have to play an Invitation. Invitation, honestly, I don't even know if you need Invitation anymore in the deck. I'd have to, like, test without Invitation to see if you don't need it. Also, I'm not even sure you need Team Yell's Cheer anymore. You can maybe just play 2 Silene, no Team Yell's Cheer, to be honest. I'd have to, like, test that, but... and then we did play Giacomo and 3 Temple of Sinnoh to have some chance against Lugia. I think you are still unfavored, despite us playing this package. I was advocating for us to not play the Giacomo Temple of Sinnoh package. I was like, I don't know. I think we still lose. And I think it is still an unfavorable matchup. You can, like, if the player doesn't play perfectly on the Lugia side, though, or not perfectly, but, like, very well, then you can beat them, obviously. But, so we played the Lugia package. I played against 0 Lugia. None of my wins really, like, matter too much, to be honest. Yo, what's up, Jesse? Congrats on the top 4. So the Lugia matchup is kind of, Lugia matchup is still unfavored. It's still unfavored, despite, like, Giacomo. We thought Lugia was going to be a little bit more popular as well. We thought Lugia would be more popular than it ended up being, for sure. We thought it'd be a little bit more popular, but it wasn't. That's fine. But we played the 3 Temple of Sinnoh, the Giacomo, to have a chance against Lugia. It's still unfavorable. Honestly, Erica's Invitation, I don't know if you need, to be honest. You can maybe just play 4 Flute. We went to 3 Flute because we had to make room for the Temples of Sinnoh. And honestly, Flutes are, like, you need Flutes, but I don't know, 3 Flute felt pretty comfortable. But like I said, you can maybe cut the Erica's Invitation for the 4th Flute anyways. Like, I don't know how good Invitation actually is anymore. And then obviously 4 Gear, 4 Nest Ball, 4 Counter Catcher, 3 Palpad, maybe could go down to 2, 1 Switch Cart, because you do want some maneuverability, even though you don't play stuff like Mantine or Chi-Yu. Like, if you open a Rotom, you want to be able to get it out of there with Switch Card if you can't afford to play the Penny on the turn, whatever it might be. So still just 1 Switch Cart. Heavy Ball, of course. I'll talk about the tools real fast. 3 Bravery Charm, 2 Handheld Fan. Definitely would have liked a 3rd Handheld Fan, but 2 is, like, sufficient. You can't go less than 2. You need it for the Guardy matchup. You need it for the Regidrago matchup. But honestly, a third handheld fan would be nice. Force-Yosan obviously to combo with the V Pokemon. And then the secret box is basically just because I feel like you probably shouldn't play secret box if you're not playing the Giacomo Temple of Sinnoh. So the secret box just combos to get the whole combo off against the Lugia player. So like turn 1 you could go Arven and you can Arven for secret box, and then like turn 3, or like if you can find the secret box, if you can Arven for the secret box, then secret box can become Giacomo, Temple of Sinnoh, Countercatcher, Handheld Fan, and then you trap an Archeops in the active. So basically the game plan against Lugia now that you have Handheld Fan is you just trap Archeops in the active with a Snorlax, and if they attack with Archeops, they lose an energy, and then you penny your Snorlax into a new Snorlax with a Handheld Fan. They attack you again, you push another energy back until they have no energy to attack with Archeops, then you win. But they have like just enough resources plus the early game pressure that they can put on before you can set up your combo that you can just lose. You can just lose before that happens, or they'll have enough resources where they can draw past until they draw like Stadium plus Jet or something. So because they can just wait until they draw a Stadium plus Jet, then it's like not quite enough. So like you kind of need the Giacomo. You can't just win with Temple of Sinnoh plus Handheld Fan plus Penny on a Snorlax. You like need the Giacomo to like also pressure them a little bit, so they can't just sit there with like a Chinchino on the bench with like 5 energy until they draw Jet Sinnoh. So you need to like pressure them a little bit. So you need like the Giacomo on top of the Sinnohs, it feels like. But even then, I think the matchup is still unfavorable. Like you can add all this stuff for the Lugia matchup, and it is still an unfavorable matchup. I think it is still an unfavorable matchup, unfortunately. So you can't really tech your way out of it. Moving forward, I would definitely cut all of the tech cards because I don't think Lugia is a very good play moving forward, thanks to Thorns. Thanks to Thorns and Miraidon, which should be more popular moving forward. I'll do a tier list video because I'm sure someone's gonna ask. I'm not gonna do a tier list video right now. I'll probably do it next week, or yeah, I'll do a tier list video next week, like leading into Baltimore. I'm not gonna do one right now, but we do have Baltimore coming up, so I'll do a tier list video for Baltimore as we get closer to that. But yeah, that's the list. It's stall, nothing super special. Secret box is cool if you're gonna play the text for Lugia. And it's kind of nice overall. It just like fully sets up your board in one turn. The secret box does, which is nice. So if you're cutting the Lugia stuff, what would you replace secret box with? Just cape. Just put a cape in there. Yeah, just put a cape in there. The secret box is just really, really nice when you're playing all the Lugia, because it finds your Giacomo aggressively, finds you another temple to work with, and then it gets you a tool card, which isn't like too hard to find, but helps you find it. Have you seen the Iron Valiant One Prize or Blood Moon Ursaluna deck? I have, yes. You appreciate that, gives a sub there. Sue over Lugia Bot. Welcome back to the pack, Lugia Bot. No Heroescape Raging Bolt matchup. I don't know. They can usually get enough energy and play to one-hit KO whatever they want anyways. So I don't think it really changes that matchup too much. Like, they need a couple more energy to KO your Rotom, but like not a lot. Like, they'll get there eventually. It could like theoretically buy you one more turn for Mimikyu though. I mean, I don't think it really matters too much in the Mimikyu matchup because it's still a 2-hit from the Sandy Shocks, right? Sandy Shocks is still 2-hitting you. I guess it would just be if they played Flutter Mane instead of Sandy Shocks. But we were just playing the matchup with the idea of Sandy Shocks. So like Charm does the same thing for Sandy Shocks. The only thing that would be different would be Y3 Sisters, because Sisters is really good against Drago to get rid of their Cologne and their Prime Catchers and stuff like that. Would you put the Vest back in without the Lugia stuff? I have no clue. I haven't thought about the deck that much. I'm just saying what we played and why we played it. I haven't thought about like moving forward though. I haven't thought about that at all. One for each sister. Yeah, exactly. And then I guess I can talk about my matches as far as those went as well. Ox seems way better than Cape overall. I mean, the Cape's better against Drago. Cape's better against Drago, and I'd have to go through all the matchups. That might be it for the most part, but that's a pretty big matchup, right? It's a pretty big matchup to be better against. So my matches here. Round 1 I had to buy because I did end up top 16 for the tournament. Round 2, and let me try and remember literally everything I played against. Round 2 I played against Guardy, and it's pretty straightforward. Like I just did the Fan Snorlax combos. Like it was pretty straightforward, easy dub. They didn't play anything too crazy. Oh, if I'm remembering correctly, actually, they did play double Turo, but it wouldn't have mattered, I don't think, if they had it, but they prized a Turo both games. Like, both games, they prized a Turo. Actually, this is one of the matchups. The Guardy matchup is where you need, like, the double boss. You want to be able to you want to boss as much as possible in that matchup. Yeah, beat a Guardy. Then I played against a mirror match. But they played Chi Yu. So that's pretty bad. I played against a mirror match in round 3, but they had Chi Yu. But they played it a little bit poorly in the early game, and they gave me like an opportunity to actually win the match. I was able to get the match down to a point where if on their last Silene they hit double tails, I would win the game. I just win the game. So it did come down to a Silene. It shouldn't have gotten there, I don't think. But yeah, they took it really slow. They did open with an actual like completely dead hand, but at some point I believe they got access to Rotom and just decided to not use it, to try and dig to get to their resources more aggressively, to give them more like odds of like drawing into being able to like chain Silenes and stuff. Just get into the Chi Yu more aggressively, like find their penny, play their penny, and they were playing like they were playing thinner lines of everything. Like it seemed like they were playing like 2 Palpad, 2 penny, or 2 Palpad, 2 or 3 penny. I think they definitely prized the penny though. They maybe play if they did play like stuff like the 3rd Palpad, they definitely prized it because they only went through 2 Palpads. But they eventually found their Yelchier. They didn't prize Yelchier or Silene, unfortunately. If they had prized either of those, I think I actually would have won. But I got down to a point where if they hit double tails on Silene, they still have Pidgeot left, but I could have filled their bench. It's actually kind of funny. I could have filled their bench with Erica's Invitation and trapped them out of being able to reuse their Pidgeot ever. Because their hand was just full of Pokemon. So I could have just sat there and just recovered Erica's Invitation, used it 4 or 5 times in a row, and then eventually they wouldn't be able to use Pidgeot to recover it in their deck, and they would deck out. I didn't get to that point, though, unfortunately. Round 4, I played against Raging Bolt. I think the match was pretty close. They also played Vacuum. And I don't know why. I was going to ask him, because I know Jeff. Maybe just Jeff... He played a switch instead of a switch card. He played 1 switch card and 1 switch. I don't know why. I was going to ask him about it after the match, but I forgot to. But I won game 1. The Vacuum's a big deal in that matchup as well. He played the Vacuum. That sucks. That's rough because it gets rid of a tool card, which means Sandy Shocks gets a KO on a Mimikyu, which is what he did 2 of the games or 3 of the games. I don't know why he played a switch, but he played 1 switch card. So there's like, it's not like he had 4 switch cards and was like, all right, 1 switch. That'd be kind of crazy to play in Raging Bolt. But yeah, I got donked in game 3, or effectively donked. I effectively got donked in game 3. I just went Mimikyu pass in game 3. Won game 1, I believe. Lost game 2. Both those games were close. And then, yeah, game 3. Round 5, played against another Gardevoir. They definitely didn't know how to play the matchup appropriately because they put out double Curlias. So if you don't know, in the matchup, as Gardevoir against Stall, your bench basically wants to be like Klefki, Fluttermane, Ralts, Gardevoir, and that's it. But they went TM Evo, put out 2 Curlias, and I was like, all right, they don't quite know how to play the matchup. So took advantage of that. So that was pretty straightforward, pretty easy. They made that big mistake. That's like a pretty huge mistake in the matchup as well. Makes it really, really easy to win. And both Gardevoir players, I would have 2-0'd them, but like the matches never concluded. Like I beat them game 1 and then time ran out before game 2 concluded, but I was going to win in game 2 both times as well. So beat that Gardevoir as well. Once again, they didn't have quite the full understanding of the matchup. Then round 6, played against a Raging Bolt. This one was close. They had the Fluttermane. They didn't have the Vacuum. They played really well, from what I could tell. But yeah, it was just close back and forth. Barely able to eke out the 2 wins I got in the end. I think I did 2-0 them. If I remember correctly, they maybe took a game. I don't fully remember. We maybe did go to 3 games. I don't remember. They had the Fluttermane, so they had the answer to the Mimikyu. And they played really well besides that, like thinning out their hand of their basic Pokemon and like getting them out of the deck, putting them in the discard pile, minimize the flute potential. And then I played against Landon, Caitlin, also playing Raging Bolt, but Landon did not play an out to Mimikyu. So game 1, bench Mimikyu, conceded. And then game 2, my Rotom almost got donked. I think the Snorlax got KO'd, and then I had no out to a basic Pokemon in my hand. So I went, well, Bravery Charm to Rotom, draw 3. whiffed the knockout, and then I went Benjamin McHugh, game over. So quick 2-0 there. And then on the winning in for day 2, I played up against Ancient Box with the Pecharunt, and it's basically an auto loss. They played it a little like weird and conservatively in game 1, so I thought they maybe didn't fully understand that they just win, that they literally just beat me. In game 1, they played it really weird and really slow and conservatively, so I was like, maybe they just don't understand they just win this matchup. And they're like giving me, like, we sat there for like 5 or 6 turns with them not attacking. They were waiting till they could one-hit KO stuff, but like I feel like they weren't like even playing supporters when they could have to like build up to attack and knockout. So I was like, all right, maybe if they draw all of their non-item cards and I Misfortune Sisters away all of their item cards, then possibly I could beat them. It didn't happen. I lost game 1. Game 2 though, hold on, it gets interesting. So I chose second. Because I was like, all right, I haven't tested this matchup at all, but I know I lose if they get a Roaring Moon that can attack and Pecharunt in play. So I was like, I'm gonna choose second so I can go Arven for Flute and 4 Sealstone for Flute immediately, and just double Flute them before they have a chance to interact with their deck too much. I was like, I could go first and then maybe I just get run draw 3, but then it's like, then they get to like play a supporter. Maybe they find the Pecharunt, so I have to minimize their outs to finding Pecharunt, maximize my outs to finding maximize my outs to finding the flutes. So I chose second. They went first. They actually opened a dead hand, and I got the double flute off, and I hit 4 Pokemon, and their hand was completely dead. Like, yeah, they had nothing in their hand. And then they top decked the Pecharunt. If I had had one more turn, I could have played. My 3rd flute was in the deck. I checked as well. I was like, I opened like Nest Ball for Rotom, played my Arven, got the flute, 4 Sealstone for flute, hit 4 basics, and they were playing like they were playing all the water guys too, so they had a ton of basics. So it would be pretty reasonable to hit enough basics. Yeah, I caught the Greninja and the Suicune Pokemon, I think. But I only got 4. I got 4 total. It was like Flutterbane, Second Moon, Suicune, Greninja. So I was like, okay, I win. If they don't bench Pecharunt next turn and I get my 3rd flute, it's almost guaranteed to hit a basic Pokemon in their deck. Like, they have to play a very high basic Pokemon count. I was feeling pretty good, but then they top decked Pecharunt. I also just didn't know if they had a supporter, but their hand was dead. I learned afterwards that their hand was completely dead. So I almost got them. But even then, even if I had gotten 5 Pokemon on the bench and then maybe they concede game 2 really quickly, I'd have to do it again. I have to do it again. I would literally have to do it again. So it was like pretty unlikely. Even if I was able to squeak out game 2, it was very unlikely I would win game 3. Yeah, because all I have to do is basically bench Pecharunt. They do have to get a Roaring Moon down as well, I guess. I guess like theoretically they could win with Fluttermane attacking over and over as well. Like, I guess it wouldn't have to definitely be a Moon, but Fluttermane's a little bit slow. So that's where I lost my winning in at that point, and tournament was over with the what's it called? Yeah, I can't beat Ancient Box Petch. It's pretty tough. Can't switch into Flutter with Petch though. Oh yeah, true. No, I guess it would. Yeah, you couldn't use Flutter. It literally has to be Dark type, right? Yeah, it has to be Dark type. So it literally has to be a Moon. It has to be a Moon. So I guess I could lock them at a Moon off the bench. Yeah, game 2 they opened a Moon. So it was just like, will they find the Petch, or will I find 4 basic Pokemon or 5 basic Pokemon? Not quite. Yeah, almost was able to squeak a game out there, but like I said, I probably would have lost game 3 anyway, so it's like not a big deal. But yeah, that's the tournament run. I'm not like overly disappointed with my run. I didn't prep that much for Worlds this year. I definitely want to prep more next year, and I'm gonna prep more for the ICs in general as well. Those are the only tournaments I actually plan to go to for sure. I plan to go to all the ICs and Worlds. We'll see what regionals I end up going to. I'm gonna figure that out as the season goes, but I'm not going to anything until LAIC for sure. So my first tournament of the year is going to be LAIC, but I'm definitely gonna up my practice regimen leading into the ICs and Worlds. I do plan to like win an IC or top 4 in IC to get my Worlds invite. So that's going to be like my plan to get my Worlds invite this year, or like win a regional or something. That'll be the plan to get the invite. I'm not worried with trying to end up top 125 or anything like that, because I'm not going to go to that many. I'm not going to go to like every regional, and I'm not going to any local tournament. So that'll be the plan to get the invite this year.